I've chosen to start anew, without you." The words lingered in the elegant dining room of the high-end restaurant where we'd gathered to honor my daughter's college graduation. My husband of 28 years, Victor, stood with his champagne flute still raised, his declaration overshadowing the toast he was meant to give for Emily's milestone. The clatter of cutlery stopped. Conversations froze. 50 pairs of eyes shifted between Victor and me, anticipating my response. They expected tears, an outburst, or a dramatic exit. Instead, I smiled. "Well done for speaking your truth." I'm Alina Mitchell, 54, and until that moment I'd played the part of the loyal wife and mother flawlessly. I'd set aside my own ambitions to support Victor through 3 startups, 2 career shifts, and endless self-discovery phases. I raised our brilliant daughter, Emily, who sat beside me now, her graduation cap still on, her face etched with shock. From the corner of my eye, I noticed Samantha Reed, Victor's much younger mistress, fidgeting at a back table with people I'd considered lifelong friends. Friends who apparently knew about the affair but never told me. Samantha, who'd attended our holiday gatherings and once sought my advice on her career. With measured calm, I reached into my purse and pulled out a sealed ivory envelope. I placed it gently by Victor's plate. "What's this?" he asked, his smug expression wavering. "Something for you to read later," I said, my voice even. I turned to Emily, her face ashen. I kissed her cheek. "I'm so proud of you, darling. This day is still yours." Then I stood, smoothed my dress, and addressed the stunned guests. "Please enjoy your evening. I wish you all a wonderful time." With that, I walked out, head high, feeling the weight of 50 gazes trailing me. The heavy door closed behind me, muffling the start of nervous whispers. Outside, the Augusta summer heat enveloped me, but I embraced it. For the first time in years, I felt unburdened. Behind me, the door swung open and slammed shut, followed by Victor's voice, no longer bold but shrill and panicked. "Elena, what is this? What have you done?" I kept walking, allowing myself a faint smile. The envelope held the start of my retribution, planned meticulously for months. I'd always been the pragmatic one in our marriage. While Victor chased grand dreams and took risks, I ensured our family's stability. I saved for Emily's education when Victor sank money into a friend's failed cafe venture. I worked overtime as a financial director at Vantage Corp when his midlife crisis led him to abandon his steady job to pursue artisan woodworking, a whim that lasted barely 6 months. My own dream, launching a financial advisory firm for women, had been deferred endlessly. After Emily graduates, I'd told myself, after Victor finds his footing. 3 months ago, I spotted irregularities in our joint accounts, small transfers to an unfamiliar account. With 20 years of managing our finances, these stood out starkly. I could have confronted Victor then, but instinct held me back. Maybe it was the growing distance between us over the past year. Instead, I investigated quietly. What I found was worse than I'd feared. Victor had been diverting funds to a secret account for over a year. He'd taken Samantha to lavish dinners, bought her jewelry, and was eyeing coastal property, all while preaching frugality for our retirement. Then I found the text messages when Victor left his phone unlocked. Messages about their new life together. Messages about breaking free. Messages planning their future the day after Emily's graduation, the day he chose for his grand exit. What Victor overlooked, or never fully understood, was that I'd been a financial expert for 30 years. I knew how to track money. More crucially, I recalled the prenuptial agreement we signed 28 years ago when my family's wealth outstripped his. The agreement he'd insisted on, ironically to safeguard his future earnings, included an infidelity clause that would now undo him. While Victor schemed with Samantha, I built my case. I met with lawyers. I documented every hidden transaction. I gathered proof of their affair. I prepared divorce papers. I timed everything precisely, knowing Victor would wait until after Emily's graduation to spare her moment. What he didn't know was that I'd filed the divorce papers that morning before his planned speech, though they remained tucked away in court records out of his reach. I didn't return to the restaurant. Instead, I drove to our home, a grand colonial in Augusta's historic district bought 15 years ago. The home Victor had already promised to Samantha, per text he didn't know I'd seen. I parked in the driveway and entered what had been our shared sanctuary. The family photos on the walls, the heirloom clock from my father, the weathered leather sofa where Victor and I once planned our future, it all looked unchanged. Yet everything was different. Upstairs in the master bedroom, I opened the closet. Victor's clothes were already packed in suitcases, stashed in the back, ready for his departure tomorrow. I smiled at his predictability. Meticulous about his wardrobe, careless about what mattered. My phone buzzed with messages from restaurant guests, Emily and Victor's sister, Claire, who'd flown in for the graduation. I replied only to Emily, "I'm fine. This isn't your weight to carry. Enjoy your day. We'll talk tonight. I love you." I'd shielded Emily from the truth for months to protect her final semester. She'd be upset I hadn't told her, but I trusted she'd understand in time. Emily had my pragmatism and Victor's charm, a potent mix that earned her honors at graduation. 3 hours later, Victor's car roared into the driveway. The front door crashed open. "Eleanor," he bellowed, his voice echoing. "Where are you?" I sat in the living room, reviewing files on my laptop. I closed it as he stormed in, face red, clutching the envelope. "What's this about?" he demanded, waving the papers. "You served me divorce papers." "Today, it seemed fitting," I replied calmly. "You wanted a new start, I'm just helping you along." "You had no right." "I had every right," I cut in, voice steady. "Just as you had the right to choose Samantha." "We all make choices, Victor," he smirked. "The prenup's long expired, any lawyer will tell you that." I allowed a slight smile. "Actually, it hasn't. Section 12 states the infidelity clause holds for the marriage's duration. Your lawyer should have clarified that." "Oh, wait, you didn't hire one, did you?" His face paled as the truth hit. The prenup he'd demanded to protect his potential wealth now stripped him of nearly everything. The house, our Savannah vacation home, his share of our retirement funds. His dramatic restaurant announcement had become the costliest moment of his life. "You can't do this," Victor said, slumping onto the sofa. "We built this together. And you chose to dismantle it," I replied, "though not as you planned." His phone buzzed in his pocket. He glanced at it, then ignored it, likely Samantha, wondering why he wasn't following their script. "You're heartless, Eleanor," he said, trying a new tack. "What about our 28 years together?" I studied him, the man I'd loved for nearly 3 decades. The man who held my hand through 2 miscarriages before Emily. The man who surprised me with a Charleston getaway for our 10th anniversary. When had he changed, or had I been too loyal to see him clearly? "Those years meant everything," I said honestly. "That's why your betrayal cut so deep." His face softened, sensing an opening. "Then maybe we can fix this. I messed up. People mess up." "This wasn't a misstep, Victor. This was a deliberate plan over a year in the making. You moved our money, you shopped for property with her, you planned to humiliate me publicly." He stiffened. "You're blowing this out of proportion." "Am I?" I opened my phone's recording app and played his voice. "After the graduation, I'll tell her it's done. A public setting's best, she won't make a scene." Then Samantha's voice. "She doesn't suspect the money?" "Victor, not a clue. Eleanor trusts me completely." "That's her flaw." His face drained of color. "You recorded us, that's illegal." "Not in Georgia with one party's consent," I said. "And not in our home. I didn't record your private moments with Samantha. I'm not cruel. Just the parts about defrauding me." Victor stood, agitated. "I need to make calls." "Start with your lawyer," I suggested. "I'll be at Claire's tonight." "Claire's?" he sputtered. "My sister's," I nodded. "She's not thrilled with you. She saw you with Samantha last Christmas, confronted you. You swore it was nothing. When she realized you lied, she told me." Another blow he hadn't seen coming. "Everyone's turning on me," he muttered. "Ironic, isn't it?" I grabbed my purse and a small bag I'd packed. "You have until tomorrow night to clear out your things, then the locks change." As I headed for the door, Victor called out, desperate. "What about Emily? Have you thought about her?" I paused, anger piercing my calm. "Don't use our daughter as a shield. You weren't thinking of her when you planned your beachside life with Samantha." His phone buzzed again. He checked it and groaned. "Problem?" I asked. "Samantha's at the apartment. She's already moved in." I smiled. "The apartment you put in both your names, the lease you signed last month," he nodded, confused. "Check with the leasing office." "That application was flagged for credit issues and never finalized. The agent called our home line. I handled it." I walked out, leaving Victor to face the first of many consequences. His carefully crafted new life was unraveling. Claire lived in a cozy bungalow across town, near the university where she taught English. She greeted me with a tight hug. "I just heard from Emily," she said, pulling me inside. "You okay? Better than I expected," I admitted, following her to the kitchen where she'd opened a bottle of wine. "I can't believe Victor made such a scene," Claire said, pouring 2 glasses. "In front of everyone." "It was meant to shame me," I said, taking a glass. "A public rejection so I couldn't react without looking unhinged." Claire's face darkened. "My brother always loved theatrics, but this is beyond anything." We settled in her sunroom, surrounded by plants and books. Claire had never married, cherishing her independence and career. I'd sometimes envied her freedom. "What was in that envelope that rattled him?" she asked. I explained, the divorce filing, evidence of his financial deceit, and the prenup that would leave him with little. "The prenup," Claire mused, laughing bitterly. "He insisted on it to protect father's money for his first venture. The irony's rich." My phone rang. Emily. I braced myself. "Mom," she said, voice tight, "I'm coming to Aunt Claire's." "You don't have to. I'm already on my way," she cut in. "Dad's telling everyone you've lost it, that you've been scheming for months." He would rewrite the story to play the victim. "Let him talk," I said. "The truth will surface." 20 minutes later, Emily arrived, still in her graduation dress, makeup streaked from tears. She hugged me like she did as a child after a bad dream. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked, voice muffled. "I didn't want to spoil your semester," I said. "You earned this day." "Well, Dad ruined it anyway," she said, pulling back. We sat in Claire's living room as I shared the full story, the affair, the hidden money, Victor's plans. "I knew Dad was off," Emily admitted. "Distracted, always on his phone. But I didn't imagine this. No one wants to see betrayal in those we love," Claire said softly. My phone buzzed with a text from my lawyer, Thomas Reed. The emergency filing was approved. The accounts I'd flagged were frozen pending the divorce. Victor had access to his personal account, enough for basics but not for the lavish plans with Samantha. I showed the message to Claire and Emily. "Good," Emily said firmly. "He deserves it. He's still your father," I reminded her. "Your bond with him is separate." She shook her head. "Maybe one day, but not now. He hugged me this morning, said he was proud, all while planning to destroy our family." The doorbell rang. Claire returned, looking uneasy. "It's Victor, and he's not alone." I braced myself as Claire led Victor and Samantha in. Samantha looked nervous, shifting uncomfortably, her blonde hair framing a face untested by real adversity. At 37, she was 17 years younger than me. Victor was livid, his earlier panic now fury. "Alina, stop this madness," he demanded. "Unfreeze the accounts. We can talk like adults." Emily stood, stepping slightly in front of me. "Maybe you should have been an adult before announcing you're leaving Mom in front of everyone." Victor blinked, as if just noticing her. "Emily, this isn't about you." "Not about me," she snapped. "You wrecked our family on my graduation day." Samantha touched his arm. "Victor, maybe we should go." He shrugged her off. "No, I'm not leaving until Alina acts reasonably." Claire crossed her arms. "My sister-in-law seems the only reasonable one here. You made this mess." I stayed seated, done with playing peacemaker. "The accounts stay frozen until the hearing in 3 days. The judge will decide asset division." 3 days? Victor sputtered. "What do I do until then?" "You have your personal account," I said. "The one you've been siphoning money into." "That should suffice." Samantha's head snapped toward him. "You have another account. How much is in it?" Victor ignored her, but the tension was clear. "This is spiteful, Alina," he said. "Not like you." "Maybe you never truly knew me," I replied, "just as I didn't know you." Emily turned to Samantha. "Did you know he'd announce it like that, at my graduation?" Samantha looked ashamed. "I thought he'd tell your mom privately. Today was a surprise." Victor shot her a betrayed glance. Their alliance was cracking. "You both need to leave," Claire said firmly. "You've upset Emily enough." "Emily," Victor pleaded, "you get that relationships evolve, right? People drift." Emily's face hardened. "What I get is you're a coward who couldn't give Mom the respect of a private talk. You stole from us while I worked 2 jobs for textbooks because you said we were strapped." Victor paled. "That's not how it was." "It's exactly how it was," Emily snapped. "Please leave, Dad. I can't face you." Silence fell. Victor turned to go, Samantha following. At the door, he looked back. "This isn't over, Alina. I'll fight this." "Feel free," I said, meeting his gaze. After they left, Emily collapsed beside me, sobbing. "I've never spoken to Dad like that." I hugged her. "Standing up for what's right can hurt." Claire raised her wine glass. "To fresh starts?" Indeed, I thought, this was only the beginning. The preliminary hearing was held in a modest courtroom on a rainy Tuesday. I arrived with Thomas, my attorney, while Victor brought a novice corporate lawyer, a poor choice reflecting his hasty planning. The judge, a sharp-eyed older woman, reviewed the prenup closely. "This agreement is valid," she said, peering over her glasses at Victor's lawyer. "Do you dispute it?" The lawyer cleared his throat. "Your Honor, we argue the agreement lapsed due to time. Section 18 states it applies for the marriage's term and any resulting proceedings," the judge read. "No expiration is noted." Victor whispered urgently to his lawyer, who looked uneasy. "Further," the judge said, Evidence of hidden transfers violates Section 23's disclosure rules. She flipped through papers. I'm upholding the account freeze pending full discovery. Mr. Mitchell's personal account remains accessible. The family home stays with Mrs. Mitchell per the infidelity clause. Victor muttered, "This is absurd," loud enough for me to hear. The judge glared. "Mr. Mitchell, review the agreement you signed. We reconvene in 30 days. In the hallway, Victor approached. "Alina, please, 28 years should mean something." "They did," I said, "until you decided they didn't." Word spread fast. Friends called, some supportive, others curious. I stayed reserved, saying only, "Victor and I are parting ways, it happens." Victor's polished image, successful entrepreneur, devoted husband, crumbled. The frozen accounts halted his plans with Samantha. The coastal property deal collapsed. The luxury car deposit was lost. 2 weeks later, Claire called, amused. "Samantha's gone, found out Victor's business is tanking and his savings are fiction." She told a friend she didn't sign up for a broke guy. I laughed. "He always spun a good story." I was rebuilding. My separate savings, which Victor hadn't anticipated, gave me freedom. I leased a downtown office and launched the advisory firm I'd long envisioned. My first clients were 2 women navigating divorces. Word spread, bringing more. I focused on guiding women through financial transitions, divorce, loss, career shifts. The work was deeply rewarding, unlike my corporate role. Emily, now working in marketing in Charleston, called often. "I'm proud of you, Mom," she said after I shared my growing client list. "You're helping people at their lowest." "I'm doing what I needed years ago," I said. Being valued for my expertise, not just my nurturing, was liberating. The final hearing fell on what would have been our 29th anniversary, a poetic close to nearly 3 decades. Victor looked worn. His business was faltering without my support. Samantha had moved on to a Savannah developer, and most friends had distanced themselves after learning of his deceit. The judge upheld the prenup fully. Victor left with his belongings, his struggling company, and his personal account, now depleted after legal fees. I kept the house, my retirement funds, and 70% of our joint investments, as the prenup dictated for infidelity. The justice was fitting. The document Victor demanded became his ruin. As we left the courtroom, he approached. "I messed up," he said quietly. "Any chance we could?" "No," I said gently but firmly. "That chapter's closed." "I understand," he said, and for once I believed him. "I hope you find peace, Alina. You deserve it." It was the most honest thing he'd said in years. 6 months later, my firm, Mitchell Financial Futures, was flourishing. I'd moved to a larger office and hired 2 staff. I specialized in empowering women through life's transitions. Emily visited often, and our bond grew stronger.